What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marvel of a Matter back with another video. And today, what I'm going to talk about is how attractiveness actually affects mate choice. How attractiveness actually affects mate choice. So, recently I've been talking about types. I've been talking about specifically like women having types and how the type is really what affects the woman's choice, right? How you being her type is going to give you far better chance for her to actually try to be with you than if you're not her type. Even if you're more attractive than another guy who's her type, right? He will still have a better chance, right? With women, it doesn't work as much like that. Um, it's more about how attractive the woman actually is. But even still, attractiveness, I keep saying it, is just not linear. It's just not a linear thing, right? So the way we seem to think that attractiveness works on the guy side, how we think about it is like hypergamy, right? So women just want to get the best guy that they can get, right? It's just like if a girl, it doesn't matter what number how attractive or unattractive she is, if she can get somebody who's extremely attractive to her, the way we look at it is that, okay, yeah, she's gonna want that guy, right? And vice versa. Guys, we already know for us, and women assume for us that when we see a girl that looks very attractive, the more attractive she is, the better, the more likely we are going to want to be with this girl, right? And that's just how we think about it for each other. But if you really stop and you really and look at your own life, right? I could look at my own life. Think about the times where you've seen somebody who is extremely attractive to you, right? How many times you've seen that person and you did absolutely nothing? You did absolutely nothing, right? You saw a person. If you're a guy, you saw a girl. If you're a girl, you saw a guy, or whatever y'all see, and y'all like, you seen a person that you thought, like, damn. Like, as me, I'm like, damn, like, who let this girl outside looking this good? This is crazy. Like, she's just walking like this. Nobody's with her. She's just dolo by herself. Like, this happened. The most recent time this happened, I would say, was probably in the summer, where I seen a girl that I can like think of off the top of my head. It was like in the summer where I seen this girl. This was right after or shortly after I broke up with my ex. So I was a little rusty, right? So that's my little disclaimer. I was a little rusty. I hadn't approached the girl in maybe like a year and a half, almost 2 years. So I was rusty. But I see this girl. I'm at Santa Monica Pier with my friend, and this girl is bad as she's just bad. Like she was definitely had to be like Filipina, some islandy type girl like that. Skin, bronze, she was glowing. Everything was on point. Waist snatched, hip to waist ratio on point. Butt, legs, nice toned back. Like everything, her face was gorgeous. She was like glowing. Like you know those people that just like she looked out of place. We was at the pier. It was a bunch of like it was during the summer, so there's a lot of tourists. So it's like every type of American is there. Everybody's there. She just looked out of place. She just looked way better than everybody else that was there. Looked crazy. So I see her. She's waiting in line. I'm like, damn. I point her out to my boy. I'm like, yo, she look crazy. He's like, she's solid. Now for my boy, he's never gonna gas a girl. He's never gonna go. He's never gonna like exaggerate. Really, I've rarely ever seen him exaggerate and be like, damn, she look. You know what I mean? So him saying like she's solid, that's solid right there, right? That means she was bad. So he goes, you should go talk to her. Now, again, I'm rusty, but this is still me. I've approached women before. I've approached super attractive women. I've approached not as attractive women. You know what I mean? I've approached women in general. So I'm not afraid to approach a woman. But she was so bad, I was just kind of like, there's no way. I talked myself out of it, right? I was like, there's no way she's here alone. I'm like, this looks crazy. Like she looked too, like she has no friends. She has nobody, nothing here. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, her man got to be in the bathroom. Like he's getting something else. Like there's no way she's just here by herself, right? This is me talking myself out of approaching her, right? Fear because I was rusty, but just in general, like the fact that like she was so bad, I'm like, there's no way she's single. There's no way that she's this. You know what I mean? There's no way she's alone. There's no way. It just doesn't make sense, right? Because we assume that when we're seeing somebody that's very attractive, women do the same thing. When they see a guy that's super attractive, they're like, no, there's no way he's single. He has hoes, he has, girls lined up around the block. We know there's no way guys are just, you don't have a man. You can have a man whenever you want, so you have to have a man, right? This is what I'm thinking. So I see her, right? We actually make eye contact. I tell my boy, I'm like, yo, I'm like, she looking over, like we just made eye contact. He's like, then you better go talk to her. I'm like, bro, there's no way. I'm like, there's no way she's here alone. I'm like, I'm 31 years old. I've seen too much in life for me to believe she's just here by herself, right? I'm like, there's no way. So she gets her churro or whatever she was waiting for, and then she starts walking. And as she's walking, I'm like waiting for somebody to come up to her or whatever, or waiting for her to be like looking for somebody. She never does. She just walks right on by me. I'm like, there's no way she's not with somebody. There's no way. I see her go. She walks off she just fades into the sunset. And I'm like, I fucked up. There's no way she was not wait. I'm like, that's crazy. She really was by herself, right? And nobody tried to talk to her as she was going. She just walked. Like niggas was acting like they didn't see her. Like that's the crazy part. People were acting like they didn't see her. I'm gonna get to that too, but like people was acting like they didn't even see her. Like she was just going off into the sunset. I'm like, this is crazy. This is wild. She was really by herself, right? But I say all that to say that was the most attractive girl there. I was single, but I still didn't do anything. So her being attractive didn't actually give her an option. I was not a real option for her. And when you're in this situation and you see a girl or you see a guy that is extremely attracted to you, but you don't do anything, you're not an option. You're not actually an option because the person's talking themselves out of talking to you. They're finding a way to not interact with you, to not put themselves in a position for anything to happen. So they're not an option. An option is only somebody who's actually presented themselves and you have the ability to choose from. You're not guessing like, oh, I think this is something. I think this is like, it's like somebody's an option to you if they make it clear to you that they're interested in you. Other than that, they're not an option. So a lot of attractive, super attractive people like her have people that would say, I would love to be with her. I would love to. But even me in that position, I didn't make a move. I didn't do anything. So would I really want to be with her if I didn't do anything? And regardless if that's true, it doesn't matter because I didn't do anything. So nothing could have happened. And this is what happens with people that are extremely attractive, right? Or even if you don't have to be extremely attractive like her, but even if you're attractive to somebody, they may see you, think you're attractive, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They might get the same idea. They might think, oh, this person's with somebody. This person's got to be a hoe. This person's got to be, you know what I mean? Like there's so many thoughts that and ways that we talk ourselves out of actually going for people that we think are attractive, that being attractive doesn't necessarily just, you know, mean you have more options. At some point, there's a diminishing return. Depending on how attracted that person is to you, there's a diminishing return, right? For I would say for almost all people. But there are some people who just go after what they want. Like they're gonna go after the partner that they want, right? And these are the people who are actually the options for attractive people. Like me, typically, I'm that type of person. I'm the person who, like, I was rusty. Like I said, in that situation, I was fresh out of a breakup. I was just not I was not on my game. But typically, I'm the type of person who, if I see a girl that I think is very attractive, even if I don't think I have a chance at all, I'm gonna just be like, I'm gonna go up and talk because what, you know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna see this girl again. I'm gonna go talk and say something. Now, not every single time I see a girl like that because living in LA, there's a lot of super attractive girls, so I can't do that all the time. But typically, if I see a girl and I'm like, nah, I gotta say something to her, right? I got to. Then I'm gonna go do it. But again, there are some people who they just go after what they want. They just go after the person that they want. And those are the people that are actually options to the attractive people. The people who actually want to do that, right? And another way to think about it is, if we don't want to use dating, look at people in their dreams, right? People in their goals, people in the things that they say they want to do. People say they want to be whatever they say they want to be, an actor, they want to be a model, they want to be a musician, they want to be, you know, the CEO of a company, they want to be whatever big aspirations they have, the biggest dream that they have. Usually people are scared of that. People don't actually go after the things they really want. That's just human nature, right? And human nature doesn't change from one situation to the next. Human nature is human nature. The majority of people don't actually go after what they really truly want, right? The thing that they really would be happy with, or they really think they would be happy with, they don't go after it. And a lot of times, even if it's presented to them as a chance to go after it, they won't even take the chance to go after it, right? If an opportunity arises and it's like, here's the open lane for you to go after your dream, most people are gonna be like, and start looking around, trying to procrastinate, they self-sabotage, they do whatever they do, but they don't go after what they say they want. And that's like, we all know people, I mean, the majority of people are working jobs they don't want to work. That's just the reality. And they're not trying to not work that job. They've just accepted it. They're just like, hey, this is what it is, right? And people do that with everything in life, and dating is included. So that partner that they really, truly, truly want, they're like, oh, this is my dream partner. They're not going after that. And when they get the opportunity to, they're not saying anything. We just figured out you can't even count the amount of times you've seen somebody you thought was extremely attractive and you didn't say anything. The majority of you. Some of you are those like go-getter type people. So you're going to go after what you want. You're going to go after the partner that you want. You go after your dreams. You're going to chase whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, some of us are like that, but some people are not like that. And they're not going to go after it. They're not going to try. Even if they're put in the position, they're going to reject it. They're going to reject themselves because they fear that they're going to be rejected by or fail at whatever it is that they're going for. And that's just how people work. So being attractive doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to go after you. Like, when we think about hypergamy, we think, okay, it doesn't matter what the girl looks like. She's just going to see an attractive guy and be like, I want him. And she's going to reject everybody else and try to go after him. That's not realistic. Women are not robots that just compute. He's the most attractive. I want him. Like, they're human beings that have insecurities, that have emotions, that have all of that. So when they see a super attractive guy, they either go, no, I have this belly fat. Like, he would never want me. He probably dates girls that, have no belly fat and their bodies are perfect. And, or they're thinking, wow, my skin is kind of messed up and this and that. And, oh, my lips are too thin. He probably wouldn't even want to kiss me. You know what I mean? Like, they're thinking all types of things when they see a super attractive guy, either negatively like that about themselves, or they flip it. And they think, no, look at him. He cares way too much about how he looks. He's got to be a narcissist. He's got to be an asshole. Nope, he's arrogant. Look at him. He's not running around smiling at everybody. He's arrogant. He thinks he's better than everybody. He's this, he's that. Like, you know what I mean? They either flip it on you or on the guy that they think is very attractive, and they make you seem like the bad guy as the attractive guy, or they put it on themselves and think he would never want somebody like me. That's a lot of girls. And that even girls who are attractive, who you would think are attractive, who you would think know that they're attractive, think like that. It's not a lot of people who are just like confident, like, yeah, I can get this partner. Yeah, if I walk up to this super attractive person, they're gonna want me. There's not a lot of people who just think like that. So with that being the mindset, you being super attractive as a person, or being very attractive to a person, because it's subjective. So you being very attractive to a person doesn't necessarily mean that they're an option for you. Doesn't necessarily mean that they will choose you. A lot of times people choose what they're comfortable with. They choose what feels safe to them. They choose what makes sense to them. Makes sense, right? There's certain people you see, right? Let's use like if you were to think of like a stereotypical professional football player or basketball player or professional athlete, right? And you were just to imagine his girl, you're not gonna imagine your first grade elementary school teacher, right? It would just seem like out of place. Like, that doesn't make sense. And the girls know that, and vice versa. There's guys are a little bit different because they might be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go for it. But there's lots of guys who are not like that. I mean, that's why I have this channel, because there's a lot of guys who don't have the know-how or the confidence or whatever to go after the girls that they want, right? That's the only reason channels like this exist, even though they're handsome or not, right? But regardless, they see a girl and they're like, she wouldn't go for a guy like me. Just like girls see a guy and go, he wouldn't go for a girl like me. So like, it doesn't make sense to them. So then they'll stop themselves because it doesn't make sense to them. And that's the reality of how people choose, right? People choose what makes sense. They're like, okay, our aesthetics kind of match, right? We're kind of on the same, level, right? That whole looks match, right? That's real. That's scientific. People choose people that are generally around the same attractiveness as them, generally. So if a lot of your partners are a certain, level of attractiveness, you're probably around that certain level of attractiveness. If you Now, that's not necessarily always true because other factors come into it, but generally speaking, unless you have like some other factor that's majorly affecting your mate value, like if you have a lot of money or if you have a lot of status as a man, then it's typically like, okay, the girls you can kind of get, that's typically where you're at. That's typically, you might be a little bit higher because girls do like a little bit higher. They want somebody that looks a little bit better, or maybe they're not aware of how attractive they are, so maybe they go a little bit lower. So you might be a little bit lower, but like you're in that general area, right? People want things to make sense. They want it to make sense. They want it to look like, okay, cool, like this is about what I can do, right? People size themselves up like, okay, this is about what I could do, and they do that with everything. If a new person goes to the gym, you're not gonna just start trying to bench the heaviest weight in the gym, right? You're gonna be like, I think I could do that, and then you're gonna do something that's comfortable, and that's just how people are. Most people just stay there. They gradually go up in the gym because you make progress, but when it comes to dating, there's not really a progress to be made. So it's like you just generally stay where you're at. You're like, this is my level. These are the types, and then that becomes people's type. You're like, this is my type. But really, it's like a defense mechanism against the fact that you don't think you could do better, right? You don't want to think about the fact that, oh, this person I really am attracted to wouldn't want me, right? So you just think, you think something negative about them, and you'd be like, no, this is my type. This is what I actually like, right? Girls who have the option of dating super attractive guys and really getting commitment from super attractive guys don't say, I know all these super attractive guys are here, but I actually like this guy over here. This is really my type. That's not typically how it goes. Like when I meet girls and they can date super attractive guys, their type is exactly what you think it would be. It would be guys who are in shape, guys who are tall, guys who look like athletes, guys who are like, girls who can get those guys, date those guys. They don't turn those guys down and be like, no, I actually like a guy with a dad bod. I like this. Like that's all a coping mechanism. Guys who are like, oh no, I don't really like girls like this. I like what I realized is a lot of times type is a coping mechanism because it keeps you from going after what you think you can't get and keeps you going after what you know you can get. That's why people demonize rich people and they demonize, certain careers and certain things because they don't want to actually go after it. They're too scared to go after it. They don't really see themselves fitting in that world. They don't think they're good enough or whatever it is, so they demonize it. And they be like, that's not really me. That doesn't fit me. You know what I mean? Even if truly deep down they would, right? They would want to do it. They're like, nah, that doesn't really fit me. It's coping. It's coping mechanism. And that's a lot of times what people do, and that's why attractiveness is not linear because people have their own insecurities. People have their own, doubting beliefs, limiting beliefs that keep them from getting what they actually want, and protect them from ever really going and facing that fear, right? So that's the same thing with dating, same thing with, dreams, same things with anything any goal you have in life, right? Anything that is attainable. The majority of people are going to convince themselves that it's not worth attaining. And then they're going to go after what they can easily attain. And that's just human nature. So that's how attractiveness actually affects mating choice. This is how it actually affects it. People don't just go after you because they think you're super attractive. It's not real. It's too simple. Like nothing in life is that simple. Nothing's ever been that simple. And when you look at your own life, like I said in the beginning of this video, you don't just go after the person you think is the most attractive because you have insecurities, because you have doubts, because you have limiting beliefs, you know what I'm saying? Because you have, negative connotations with certain things, because other people's fear of that has leaked into you. Like, it's just way too much going on for it to just be like, I'm super attractive, so I get all the people. That's just not how it goes. All right, so that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Drop some more topics in the comment section. I got my coaching calls in the description box, Instagram in the description box. And y'all know what it is. It's mind over matter, Marvel over matter. Let's get it.